I am talking about how to do good networking, how to do great networking actually, online and offline. Now I'm just concerned actually, I didn't have sound. Hopefully this will work. I didn't have sound a moment ago. As you can see, we have a new office. We've moved home again. Temporary. This is just a 6 to 9 months temporary movement. But please let me know. Can you hear me okay? Because 2 seconds ago you couldn't hear my sound. So just let me know in the chat that you can hear me okay. And I am talking today about how to mess up your online and your offline networking. And you might be saying, well, Amanda, why do I want to mess it up? So I'm going to share with you how you're actually doing it and then what you need to do instead. So let me just go to my chat. And if you can just comment, say that you can hear me and that you can see me, that would be absolutely brilliant. And what I'm going to be talking to you today is how you mess up your networking online and offline and the things that you need to do to actually stop yourself from messing up, okay? So the first thing that I see so many of you doing actually is messing up by, oh, that's not working, hold on. You don't fully show up. There you go, it's working now. Cool, lummy. I tell you what, I am pretty knackered, to be honest. We've moved home and we have been like doing everything and running the business and moving home. It's been exhausting. So please bear with me as I'm still trying to get to grips with setting up all of my computer software so that it works properly. You can see and hear me, which is great. You are allowed to laugh at what a mess this presentation is today, because it has been so far. But that's okay. I'm going to own it and carry on. So the first thing, let's go back one, shall we? So we just go back so that I can share with you. Right. So how you mess up your networking online and offline. Let's start again. We'll cut everything prior to this and start again. All right, so how you mess up your networking online and offline. Well, the first thing that you do is you don't fully show up. Now, you might say to me, hey, Amanda, I have a presence on social media. I am there. I make sure that I have a profile on my LinkedIn and I've got a business page, but actually this isn't enough. And maybe you'll say to me, oh, but I go networking and I catch up with people and I show up. What I mean by this is you may go to the event or have a profile online, but you don't bring energy to a room. You're passive. You hope that someone's going to stumble across you, or you hope that people are going to come up and talk to you in the room. And I'd be keen to know if this is you. Do you go to networking events and kind of stand there in the corner? Do you? Because this is how I used to be, right? So I would go to a BNI or a For networking event and I'd show up and I'd be like, right, I'm here. And I'm an introvert, by the way. So as an introvert, we find networking face-to-face can be really exhausting and hard work. And I would show up and I'd be like, right, I'm here. I'm going to go and get myself a drink and I'm going to sit on a table and hope that people come to me, because I'm not very good at approaching people and going, hey, nice to meet you, because that is just way outside my comfort zone. So is that you? Do you find that you go to a networking event or even on social media? You show up on social media and actually what happens is that you expect people to come to you rather than you go to them. So that's the first mistake that you make, is that you go to the event or you have a social media profile, but you don't bring energy to a room. You're passive and you need to work on this. Especially if you're an introvert, you need to push yourself out of your comfort zone. So that's the first mistake, okay? The second mistake is that you talk about yourself. So what is the most comfortable thing that we can do? Talk about ourselves. So as an introvert, again, it's a lot easier for me to just ramble on and on and on and on about myself than it is to think about the situation. And what we have to understand is it's important to be humble and be interested before you try and be interesting. So we want to get out of these situations. We want to, if we're live networking or even on social media, if we don't enjoy it, if we find it difficult, we want to kind of say, this is what we're all about. This is who we are. Now I'm off. Okay, but that's not enough. What we actually have to do is be humble and interested in other people before we try and be interesting ourselves. So that's the second mistake I see. The third mistake is you grab at everyone. So what do I mean by that? Well, how many of you have ever been to a networking event and got back and gone, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I've got 20 new business cards. Whee! That was a great event. Well, that actually is a huge mistake. So what we want to do, instead of grabbing at everyone, we think that we should be, going out, getting the number of business cards or getting the number of connections online. But this is wrong thinking. And what we have to do is focus on building deeper connections that are meaningful. So relationships, it's all about the deeper connections. So instead of you saying, right, I'm going to go to a networking event and see how many business cards I can get, what I would love for you to do is go to a networking event and have 1 or 2 at the most meaningful conversations and build those relationships. The same online, okay? It's very much about you making sure that you are kind of caring about people and not making them feel like it's just a numbers game and they're one of the numbers, okay? And that's why we can't grab at everyone. That's why whether you're doing stuff online or whether or not you're face-to-face, you are absolutely making sure that you don't make people feel like a number. Now, you're going to make people feel like a number if you walk into a networking event, you go, oh, hi, and I'll say, hi, Ashley, because you're commenting, so thank you, Ashley. People buy from people who they know, like, and trust, so you need to go deep, absolutely. Can you imagine, Ashley, if I walked into a networking event and went, hi, Ashley, this is what I do, what do you do? Can I have your card? Catch up with you later. Next person, hi, Matthew, this is what I do, what do you do? Great, can I have your card? Catch up with you later. And you work your way around that room. It's not going to work. But if I spent half an hour or an hour or even 2 hours really getting to know you, that relationship would be deeper. It doesn't take long to build deep relationships. You have to listen and you have to care about the person in front of you, okay? So you don't grab at everyone. That's a huge mistake. It's not a numbers game. It's about a relationships game, okay? Then what we want to do is think about the fact that you play the short game. So this is again another mistake. You go to a networking event, and I see this happen a lot. You go to one networking event and you're like, hey, who are you? Let's connect. Oh, amazing. And then you're like, why aren't you buying from me? Or why aren't you referring people? How many of you go to a networking event or are on social media and you send a message to someone going, hey, let's do mutual referrals? Well, actually, that's not going to work, is it? Because I don't know anything about you. And that's an example of someone playing the short game. So what we want to do is understand that relationships can take months, it can take weeks, it can take years to build a relationship. And remember, focus on relationships first and sales second. So what we don't want to be doing is showing up and saying, hey, we're mutually connected. And I get this all the time, by the way. I get people messaging me going, I'm looking for introductions to accountants. Can you refer me? And I'm like, I don't know who you are. I've never used your services. Why would I refer you? I don't have any trust with you. Okay, so you have to remember that if that's how I feel, that's how everyone probably feels as well. Okay, so we have to make sure that we are not just playing the short game and understanding that it's about building relationships, and it can take months, weeks, years to build, and focus on that relationships first, sales second. Okay, and then we really have to focus on giving more. And the biggest mistake that I see is you take more than you give. So you expect people to clap and love what you say, whether it's in person or you're posting online and you're like, hey, look at me, I want lots of likes, I want lots of comments, but you fail to give love to other people. You fail to show interest in anybody else online or offline, and they then don't notice that you care, okay? So you have to show interest in other people, because otherwise they're going to think that you're quite selfish, egotistical, and only care about yourself. You've got to give love. And I remember something I learned when I was very, very, very little is the more love you give away, the more love you have towards you. So the more you care about other people, the more other people care about you. And that's exactly the same whether or not you're networking offline or whether or not you're networking online with regards to your social media. Jonathan says, networking events are great fun, but it is the starting point of a business relationship. Absolutely. It's all about going deep with those relationships. Okay, so what we want to do is be more consistent as well. And I see so many people just showing up when they feel like it. During the pandemic, how many of you did this, right? During the pandemic, and I know that it's still going on, but when it was at its height at the beginning of 2020 and throughout 2020, during the pandemic, there were two kinds of people. There were the ones that showed up despite the fact that they themselves were really struggling, and were the ones that kind of hid and didn't show up because they didn't feel like it. Now, the businesses that thrived were the ones that showed up in spite of being exhausted, scared, not knowing the landscape. And what we have to understand from that is you can't show up when you feel like it. You can't be a fair weather networker. People do not trust you if you are not consistent. You can't show up to one event and then a month later go, oh, I'm not going this month, I'll go next month. You can't decide that you're going to post on social media today and then not post again for another 3 months. You can't show up, and I'm sorry, I'm being like super bossy with this, but you can't show up and go, hey, I'm back, and then forget or decide that you're not back a week later because you've broken that trust. So by not being consistently available, you will be seen as unreliable. And if you are unreliable online and not showing up, and you're unreliable online, that people are going to think you're unreliable in your business as well. So there's quite a few ways where I see some real massive mistakes being made online and offline. And I think that the biggest thing to remember is no one really cares about you. Like, you're watching this today, not because you care about me. You haven't shown up to show me love. You're interested in what the 6 mistakes people make. No one cares about you. If you want to be more valuable to people, you must bring more value. And that cannot be highlighted enough. I just need to move myself out of the way because I think this is really important. No one cares about you. If you want to be more valuable to people, you must bring more value. And that really is where we have to start. And that's about showing up and caring about the person in front of you. Not the people, not the hundreds of people at networking events, the one person that you're talking to. Bring energy, be effective, and have empathy are the 3 values here at Oomph. Bring energy, be effective, and have empathy. And if you can bring those values into your networking online and offline, you'll have great success. So, anyone who would like to find out a little bit more about how they can de-commoditize their accounting firm or their business advisory firm, I've actually created a 28-minute video that provides you with 3 strategies. You can go and watch that now. Go along to my website, Oomph.Global, click on De-commoditized, and you will have an opportunity to know how to fix 3 things that will dramatically differentiate you in your accounting firm. So do click through to that. Watch the masterclass. It's 28 minutes, and it will show you the 3 things that you need to do to differentiate yourself in the marketplace so you can attract top tier talent and get those premier clients and have the freedom that you've always desired. Hope this was helpful. Let me know your biggest takeaway from the 6 mistakes that you're making when it comes to networking online and offline. And let me know if you're watching this live, #live, or if you're watching the replay, #replay. And I will catch up with you all in the next video. Take care. Bye.